Hello and welcome back to my channel, and we rejoin the characters. They have probed once again into the depths of the lost palace of Dunmona. Um, we are well down into onto level 0. And yesterday I think I might have jumped the gun a bit. I went back and reviewed my footage of the incident we had with the kobolds and Garishnash and his little group of co-conspirators, and I realised that they had been 30 foot down this corridor, and fair enough, the characters would probably not be able to see that far into the gloom. And I thought I've been a bit hasty in just by placement of the door. I think it must have just been in the rush to get back into adventuring. We'd been back in the Green Dragon too much, and obviously all that downtime had started to addle the brain. Maybe the Hawksmere beer was starting to have a bit of an impact. So I think I'll just do a quick revision on that and write it all and justify some of the logic behind where we need to be on this one. So let's get to 170 and we will find what we should be doing. Let's go back to the kobold debacle, and the characters managed to reach this position here. Now they would have seen with their torch, their lamplight, another 30 feet down here. So the maximum they would have seen into the gloom would be down to where this door is. So what I am suggesting is that we keep the door because we generated that as a periodic check. However, I'll just remove it there, and what I'll do is I will extend this this area by another centimetre, by another 10 feet, so that it is well out of range of sight, and it would just almost, because the kobolds, they fled and they disappeared into the gloom. So this will maintain the gloom as far as the characters are concerned, but we know that the kobolds have something different to go down into. Of course, the kobolds would have known where they were going because they came from that direction initially. So I have a door to place, and when you have a door, you have to put its location. So because it says on the periodic check, we got a door. I think we rolled a 3, door table 2. So location of door. As you can see, I just went a bit crazy on that. I should have really just sort of calmed down a bit. So let's say that we're calm. We've got the D20. We're going to find out just exactly where it is in the scheme of things. So I get my D20, make sure it's in camera shot, and we get a 6. So a 6 means it's on the left wall. Okay, 1, 6 left, just. So I think I'll place it here. So the door is actually here, and this means that this corridor will go another. Let's do it another 20 feet, because that's what you do with the extension. So it should have been 30 feet in total. So we'll just do another 20, just to give us. And this is going off into the gloom. So this has been the perception that the characters would have had at the time. They would have had this. See, I'm obviously losing a bit of Lindris's touch with my mapping. Just get that on there. And I quite enjoyed yesterday. One of the features of yesterday's video, when I was going back, was the recap on the places of mystery, and just the fact that we had all these quite tantalizing and almost differentiated places of mystery, and this tagline that I was trying to put on them of being comparable to the old AD&D module, or even like the Dungeons and Dragons modules, that had an awful lot of individual charm and backstory and stuff. And if I could even get like a fraction of what they had in their kind of old school charm into my campaign, and I'd be quite delighted. I think what I want to try to do to make this sort of campaign a bit more sophisticated going forward is to try and almost put a bit of individuality and thematic stamp on each place of mystery, and have some mechanisms here which support the basic mechanism, which is the random dungeon generation, but it kind of allows it to be a bit more shaped in line with what the overall theme of that particular place of mystery is, and the overall campaign in general. And I don't think it's out with the wit of man to be able to come up with those sort of help things. You know, as far as I'm concerned, so far I've been able to get my head around most of the core rules, and just apply them the way I wanted to. And if I step back, you know, I've probably got a campaign that has been generated and that has evolved. But you know, I'm quite pleased with just what the Northern Marches is like. I like the fact that we've got Lord Seawood and his host and all these interesting individual NPCs. We've got Marchton, we've got the surrounding area, we've got Dunmorna, we've got these places of mystery, we've got the Darkwater Lake and all that type of thing. You know, I like it. I like the setting. So I really was just trying to emphasize the good features about it, and you know, say we came up with something that was very contradictory, you know, try and think of some way of minimizing the impact of that. And I think we've probably, with the mechanisms that I've employed, you know, we've been quite successful in doing that. So I'll come back off my little tangent now and get back to the matter in hand, which is the Dunmorna situation. And so we've got a corridor stretching off into the distance. I think on our marching order, I was thinking maybe just from a tactical point of view, if we have Tristan up front, and we'll have an Arian as well at his side, and just behind him we'll have Lindris, and with the lamp almost in a kind of staggered formation, we can have Dagobert. He's got the lantern, and the idea is that we can have Tristan to maybe do pushing on the door and that sort of thing, or just peering through things, and then we've got an Arian maybe with his bow ready, to exploit any instances where we say have surprise. And there are special surprise rules which are really quite which are, you know, if you actually read them, I think they're a bit over the top. When it comes to missile fire, we get 3 times as many missile shots off, and I am minded to maybe just kind of tone that down a bit. But you know, let's see how it works in practice, and see whether we can allow our superior surprise ability to come through an Arian's missile prowess. Okay. Right. So what we need to do is get our little sheet out and work out what we're going to do mapping wise. So we'd already mapped up to here. So if we do another 1, 2, 3, that's another round to do that up to here, and then we see this door. So we're not quite on a full turn yet. We're just shy, having mapped up here. We see down here this corridor here. That will probably go for another 30 feet. I won't map that just now because we're not really planning to go down there just now. So we're at the stage where we can go through, or we can try this door. So I did say that we listened to it. So let's say we have listened to it. There's nothing there. What are we going to do? Are we going to go beyond the door? I think that probably is the case, and it will be an instance where we have to do a bit of a force thing, where we have to push this door, because all doors in dungeons are always rather rusty and big and heavy, and this also gives a bit of credence to the fact that the kobolds fled up this corridor somewhere, off the end of the world, We'd have to probably do a right turn or a left turn, just to conform to this area. But and they probably haven't gone through this door unless they had. I think when the characters also they come to this area here, and also round about here, they're seeing some of the results of the kobold's trap making activity, because Grishnash's mission was to come to this dungeon and set up maybe in several areas around Dunmorna, and he's pinpointed this as being maybe a good one, maybe the lure of the pool, and then people just casually walking down here and suddenly getting caught in his web. So there are kind of some incomplete workings and setting up of spear traps and little stakes and all that type of stuff scattered round about here. There may be some kobold tools, little hammers and hand tools. So we carefully, gingerly move through that. We've listened to this door. There's been nothing there. So we say, okay, let's have Tristan and Lindris try to force the door. We'll have Anarion behind with his bow ready, and Dagobert with his lantern so that he can shine it in and we can see what's going on. So we have two people trying to force, and Lindris will be a 1 or a 2, and Tristan will be a 1 to 4 on a d6. And I think the purposes of this roll is to see whether we force the door. And if we do force the door effectively the first time, we have a chance of getting some form of surprise. Otherwise, our chance of surprise basically goes out the window. So Tristan does the job. Lindris doesn't manage, but you wouldn't have noticed. This is where they've both done it. So the door is forced open. Good. And on the back of that, we do our little resolution of space beyond the door. And we do a d20 on that. So let's see what we have beyond our door. So we'll get the Shaker of Bane going. We've got a 13. Is it unlucky for some? Oh, it's a room. So we go to table 5. So there's a room behind, and we go to table 5. We've got this room thing here. So let's see whether we're going to get some crazy geometric shape or just the standard 20 by 20. We get a 16. That's quite high up. It could be quite large. Rectangular 30 by 40. So is it 30 wide or is it 30 long? So 1 to 3 it's wide, 4 to 6 it's long. So it's wide, it's going to be 30 feet wide. And if is it placed to the side or to the left? So let's see, it could be either here, it could be coming out like this, or it could be coming out like this, or it could be coming out like this. So I'll do it in that order because I can remember. We get a 3, so that's in the middle. So it's actually, this will be 30 foot wide in the middle here, going out by 40. So quite a large room here, 40 feet out. It's going to take Lindris quite some time to map it with his little quill. We've now got Anarion to help us with taking, just guard duties, and this is quite a nice little extra dimension for us to consider, that we have a bit more help on the division of labor. So when it comes to lookouts and rotation of duties and that sort of thing, we've got this expert ranger in our group. As I said, the main thing for rangers is the fact that they are very good, adept at the they must have heightened, they're trained to have heightened senses. Maybe their ranger lore is all about being given a kind of a wherewithal to or a special kind of training that allows their senses to be heightened and naturally honed, and some sort of, maybe not a mystical type thing, and there's no magic stuff, but it's just maybe through technique, maybe like how the monks are with their kind of philosophy. The rangers maybe have the same type of thing. So we've got our room, and then what we do is we've done the size, we do the number of exits, so we'll get our D20 for that. So let's see how many exits we've got in this room. We have a 13. So a 13 means up to, so what is that? That's 3 by 4, that's 1,200 feet. So it's actually up to 1,200 feet. It's got 0. Check once per 10 foot for secret doors and see the table. So it's a 1 to 5 on each, yeah, it's one of those again. It's the old secret door. So the characters, the door bursts open. Tristan has shoulder barged it to a sufficient extent that it manages to open. It's a large room with no apparent exits. Are there any contents? That's really what we're all kind of waiting for. We roll on the chamber or room contents roll. We do our D20. We get a 15. What does that mean? Monster and treasure. Wow. Okay. So we are on effectively level 1, because that's what level 0 counts. So we go to our master table for encounters. It is this one here, which is on level 1. So we roll a D20 to see what level of monster we're going to get. There is treasure here too, which is good. We have a 10. That is a level 1 monster, so that's good news. Excuse me. So we'll get our percentage dice out. Yep. Get here, and let's find out what level 1 monster we've got to deal with. So that is a 95. Oh, it's our old friend the Shrieker. It's the Shrieker again. Is it more genetically modified Shriekers, super Shriekers that we had last time? 1 to 2. Okay. Sure, that's 95. Yeah, it's not a skeleton. Yeah, it's a Shrieker. So there will be 2 of them. I think on the Shrieker side, we had, let's get my monster manual now and look at the Shriekers. Now the last Shrieker we had, he came up as a wandering monster. I remember that, and we reckon he was a bit like a Triffid. He could move around. In fact, Triffids. I'm reading the Triffids, the Day of the Triffids, and they can really move at quite a rate. They're not just this thing shambling around. Whereas this Shrieker is he does move at quite a slow rate. I'm forgetting my alphabet. Salamander. Shrieker, here we go. Frequency common, number appearing 2 to 8. Their armor class is 7. Hit dice 3. So remember our cap item. We have our formula is our level times 2 times the number of characters. So we've got 4 times 1 times 2. So there's a maximum of 8 hit dice that we can face. So the 1 to 2 thing, we can have 1 to 2 Shriekers. So let's find out exactly how many Shriekers we're dealing with. We are dealing with 1 Shrieker. Let's see what it is on his. Yeah, he will have a normal. They do have their surprise thing. Shriekers are normally quiet, mindless fungus, which are ambulatory. They live, we reckon that was their ability to walk around a bit. They live in dark places beneath the ground. Light within 30 foot or movement within 10 will cause them. All right, so let's find out exactly where the shrieker is. Is he in tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, or tier 4 of this room? Okay, so we'll get our D4. And remember, Dagobert's got his light. So that could be a factor in how far that reaches in, because that will reach out to here. So unless he's in here, tier 4, the light is going to start affecting the shrieker. So surprise will not really be a factor, I don't think. Oh, well, I've ignored the D6. He's in tier 3. So 1, 2, or 3 is here. So let's find out where exactly he's right in the middle. So our shrieker is sitting here, right in the middle. Little legs, well, it's not got little stumpy legs coming out like a triffid. It's right in the middle there. Yeah, the 11 dark places, the light within 30 foot or movement. So we've opened this door. The light is coming in. It comes out to 30 feet because our characters, they're like this. You know, Tristan's done the heavy pushing with Lindris. We've had an Arian just behind, and Dagobert's standing maybe on that side with his lantern up so that we can see in. You know, the light will come in as the doors open, and it will fall on the shrieker. So I would say that there's no point of having any form of surprise, because the light is going to activate the shrieker. Unless maybe we could do something in this mechanic, just to say that they're quick-witted enough to say, Dagobert, you know, hide your lantern or something. But I think maybe I'm playing the system a wee bit. I would say that yeah, I think that the shrieker in this instance, it does detect the light. It does say that it's light within 30 foot or movement within 10. So it's not the movement that's triggered, but it's the light. Yeah, and what it does is that it will cause them to emit a piercing shriek which lasts for 1 to 3 millirounds. This noise has a 50% chance of attracting wandering monsters each round thereafter. Purple worms and shambling mounds greatly prize shriekers as food. Okay. So does that mean, I think we had this before, does that mean that if we have, this noise has a 50% chance of attracting wandering monsters each round thereafter? Yeah, it must be that it's based, say we get 3 millirounds, we have 50% chances of attracting wandering monsters. And I think once we've actually we've attracted, say, 1, that's it. We're not going to get zillions of wandering monsters suddenly converging on here. So let's do the 1 to 3. Well, I'll tell you what might be an interesting. Yeah, let's do the surprise thing, because if you think of it, he might be able to stop. Yeah, this could be quite important for stopping the number of rounds that the shrieker is screaming away, if we get surprise. So let's do a surprise roll, and we can see, yeah, we can see how many effectively segments that we have to maybe, say, fire arrows into it before it starts to shriek. Yeah, that might be. Maybe it will get off, say, one round of shrieking, but we might be able to stop it doing multiple. Yeah. Okay, let's do that. Let's do our surprise mechanic. Now, shriekers are, I'm assuming they're just like normal animals or creatures, and they have a 1 to 2. And because we are against the ranger, he increases their surprise roll by 1. So they are surprised 50% of the time, so they will be surprised on a 1 to 3, and our ranger is only going to be surprised on a 1. So let's roll the surprise rolls and see what happens. So we are not surprised, and the shrieker is also not surprised. So let's just revert to the original, that it starts to shriek, and it's going to shriek for, and this is where we have a chance maybe just to go in and start hacking it or shooting at it and stopping it from keep on doing it, and then we'll have less wandering monster checks, so that's the way to do it. So it's 1 to 3 rounds, so it's gonna shriek for 3 rounds. Great. So I'm just gonna get my little battle pad out. Get some piece of paper so that we can take down all the shrieker's details. Now the good thing about this is that if it doesn't attract wandering monsters and we kill it, we do have some access to some treasure. So we've got the shrieker times 1, and it's got it's three rounds it's shrieking. So we'll have three chances of a 50%. So there's a good chance that the wandering monsters are going to be coming here. But we do have a chance each round to try to slay it. And if we can slay it after 1 round, we're only going to have 50% chance of rolling. So I will get my battle board out, the battle board that we can do for the shrieker. And according to our scale, each of these is each 3 of these is 10 feet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, it will be 9. So I go out to 9 here. So we have a little ruler down here, and it will go down to 12 down here. So let me see if I've got another delimiter. I could maybe use my pencil to have that. Don't even know if that's in camera shot actually, is it? Yeah. Can you see that? I don't think you can. It's probably, because it's here, it's in this zone here. So we go down 3 there. It's in this tier here. Yeah, it's actually placed in this area here. So if I get a shrieker, I'm going to use, I'll get one of my orange ones for this. I think that's appropriate. We've got a little shrieker standing here, shrieking away. Our characters have tried to get through the door. Let's have a bit of the doorway here. We've got our doorway here, so you can see it. We had Tristan. We had Lindris. We've got an Arian, and we've got Dagobert with his lantern of Bane, poised and ready. That's the setup. Shrieker is going wow 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 wow. Red alert, calling all wandering monsters. Converge. He's got this. You know, the sturges are going. What's that noise? Is it? It's not these interlopers again. You know, they're too cowardly to come and get us. Maybe next time. And the shrieker's going wow wow. So our characters, we're just gonna do an initiative thing. I suppose I'm saying in this round it's making a noise anyhow. So let's just avoid the initiative and say that the characters have a chance to do something this round. So with a round, you can basically move to advance. So we can move 9. So let's say our what we could do is we could have Tristan move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is 9 inches. So each of these is it a 1 inch? 1 inch is each 1 inch is 10 feet, isn't it? So he could probably easily move up to here, yeah, in one turn. Yeah, so he moves up here, and I'll have him charging at the shrieker, and then I'll have Lindra's move up, and he's charging in at the side as well. And what Anarian's doing is he's got his short bow ready, and I'll just let him let off a few arrows at the shrieker directly at its head. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So the shrieker can have up to 3 hit dice. So let's just look at the shrieker's stats again. Now I'm just going to check on the actual movement, because I'm just a bit rusty on how far you can move in a round, but I'm sure we could probably close the distance there. It's not too far away. I think it's more to do with segments in surprise rounds of how far you can move, and you can move a fraction every segment. So say our movement rate was 9 inches. In a segment we could move 9 feet. So that would be 3 of them. So within a round we can easily move this distance, and we can close. What we can't maybe do is attack. So what we can do is maybe these 2 characters, what they've done is they've managed to close with the shrieker. So next round we can start hacking. But that doesn't stop Anarian with his bow firing a couple of shots at the shrieker. So the important thing I need to do is just get the shrieker's statistics and work out just how many hit points we're talking about. So its armor class is 7, and its hit dice is 3. Yep. Size small to large. So yeah, it can't be. I think when we did it last time, we had a tiering. We said, well, 1 to 2 it was small, and that would be 1 hit dice, and 3 to 4 it would be. Let's do that again and just see exactly how big this thing is. So it's a big one, it's a large one, so it's 3. So it's armor class 7 and 3 hit dice. So put that down in my little aid memoir. Armor class 7 and 3 hit dice. So let's work out its hit dice just now. Get our D8 out. First hit dice, it is a 4. So 4 plus 8 is 12. Plus 6, yeah, that's quite a strong one. 18 hit dice, hit points. So it's going to take a bit of hacking to get this one. And armor class 7. So let's find out what Anarian's got with his short bow and what he can do in a round. So our rate of fire with a short bow is potentially, and remember we don't have any weapon factors on this because of the it's against a non-armored opponent, so we're not going to have any of those. We're not going to have any bonuses because Anarian doesn't have a dexterity that gives them that. Yeah, rate of fire for a short bow short, rate of fire 2, so we can get 2 shots off against it. So let's do that, and with the arrow, I think it does 1 to 6 points of damage. An arrow against a large opponent, 1 to 6. Yep. There's nothing else we need to take into account of. So a rate of fire of 2 and 1 to 6 points of damage. And also the range, I don't think the range is going to have a factor. A range is, for a short bow is 5, so that's 60 feet. No, 50 feet. So, you know, we are at short range. So we don't get any reduction. So we're firing at short range, 2 shots. So we'll get our Dungeon Master's Guide out for the, in fact, what I should do is, I should have done this before, I'll get my actual master tables that I had at the back when we were doing the kobolds. That's very good for just, instead of actually pouring through the Dungeon Master's Guide, I've got this to hand. Here we go. And we know that it's not going to attack, it's just making this awful screaming sound, which is probably quite disconcerting for the characters. So the attack matrix for fighters, paladins, rangers, bards, and a level 0 level halflings and humans. Armor class 7, and we are level 1. So we have a 13 to hit, and there's no reductions for range. So first one to get 1 to 6 points of damage. This is, I think this is our first missile weapon of the campaign. Way, good old Anarian, and it's, that's what rangers are all about, isn't it? Firing off their weapon. Maybe a longbow might be more appropriate for outdoors, but he thought he'd have a short bow because it's a bit more compact. He can maybe move it, sort of swap his weapon systems between his longsword and his short bow a bit better. What do you do with a great big longbow? You just kind of throw it onto the floor. The short bow might be a bit easier just to maybe just sling over at his back, that type of thing. So 13 or more. That's a very bad miss. It's almost like shoots into his foot. So that's the first one. Second one, we're with you, Anarian. That's not a very good start to the campaign. Oh yes, he does. He gets a hit. Yes, strikes for the hit. We do 1 to 6 points of damage. It's not going to take the Shrieker out, but it's going to maybe dent it a bit. We do 4 points of damage against the Shrieker. So round 1, end of round 1, we have got 18 points down to 14. Good old Anarian. So we've got the next round, so that means that we're going to have another 50% chance of the, although we could do initiative, and we could say that if we get the initiative and we kill it, we only have 1 round. So let's do that. We'll do the initiative. So we are red, the monster, the Shrieker is black. We do get initiative, so let's do Anarian firing. And he's making sure that the characters have been kind of briefed how to engage, to take it from the side. So Anarian's got a field of fire that he can still keep on. The only trouble is, it's an active melee, so I suppose there is the chance that he might. Is it? Yeah, that's the trouble, isn't it? He could. There is a chance he hits one of our characters. It is large, so yeah, and we are medium, so it factors as 2. So there's a 50% chance, I would say, he would be true and hit the Shrieker, and if he hits one of the others, it's only going to be so they have almost like a 1. So if we have like ordinarily they would be like a third each chance, but this is double because it's large. So I would say that there's a 2 in 4 chance, 1 in 4, and a 1 in 4. Is it worth the risk, or should we maybe just do missile fire? I think missile fire comes first, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. I don't think it's worth the risk at this stage of maybe hitting. Lindris is probably just going to deflect any bow shot, and it's not going to be an issue. And Tristan, he's more likely to be hit, and I think there's a good chance that if our characters can connect, we don't really need the bow shot. So yeah, let's make a decision that Dagobert says, hold your fire, Anarian. Let them engage, and that's what we'll do. We'll do that. So let's work out what our characters are going to do with this. Now, they don't get a charging bonus because they're just engaging. They weren't able to charge. But we do have for Tristan, we have a +2 to hit because of his strength. I'm sure that was what we calculated last time. He's got an 18 strength. Hit 18, 60 hit probability is +2, and his damage adjustment is +3. So he gets a +2. Lindris will get a +2 because of Dark Slayer. Dark Slayer is on the go again, doing its business. This chaotic neutral. It's maybe just a bit disappointed that it's got a shrieker to start hacking into, and it's far more thinking about more tasty prey. So we've got armor class 7, Lindris. We'll do Tristan first. He gets a +2, so ordinarily it'll be a 13, so he needs 11 or more to hit on his D20. So he tries to hit, he misses, unfortunately. And Lindris will be a 13 or more to hit. Again, we don't get any weapon adjustments because it's not an armored opponent, so 13 or more. So he does hit, he connects with, oh no, he would be 11 because he gets the +2 for, I keep forgetting, he gets the +2 for Dark Slayer. So Dark Slayer does connect with the Shrieker, and a broadsword. I think it is a broadsword, it's not a longsword. I think we calculated it being a broadsword. I just don't think I've got it actually written down anywhere that I've got it down as a broadsword. But it is. It does against a large opponent. It only does 2 to 7. So it's a 1d6 +1 and then +2. And Lindris doesn't get any damage bonuses because he's not that strong. So 1d6 +3 of damage. So they're not going to kill the Shrieker outright. So maybe that was a mistake, a tactical error they made in not taking the risk and trying to silence it. Oh no, that's a terrible roll as well. So that's 1, and that's only 4 points of damage. So it goes on, this shrieking. It goes down to 10, this awful Shrieker. So that's the round over, and he's going wow, wow, wow for another round. So that's going to be 2 50% chances. We go into round 3. Oh, this is getting a wee bit. You know, maybe what an Aryan should do is just say, okay, I'm just going to go for it and move down, and not fire my weapon. Is that, would he'll be able to charge? Would he be able to make connection? He probably would actually if he charged at it. Let's do that. We'll make an Aryan decide. Although what he has to do is maybe change his bow and his weapon, and he hasn't done that. Although we could rule that last time, because he didn't do anything, what he's done is he's changed his weapon system, and he now has his long sword in place. And what he's done is he's slung his short bow over his shoulder or over his back. He's drawn his long sword, and what he does this turn is he's going to charge. So if we work out our initiative, and I suppose, you know, maybe I'm not doing this exactly to the letter of the thing, but I think with the maybe sometimes the flexibility of the AD&D combat system, and as long as you kind of have your own fair judgment on how this thing should play out, and you can rationalize it yourself, I think that, you know, that's probably just they're almost like the solo players override of what the situation. So it's a shared initiative that's going to happen at the same time. So we'll say that what an Aryan does, he charges down, and he tries to strike the excuse me, the Shrieker. He needs a 13, but he gets a +2 when he's attacking with a charge. So we'll have an 11 or more for him to hit. He misses. We have an 11 or more with Tristan to hit. He does actually connect, and he's got a long sword, and that was 2 to 7. So that's 1 to 6, and he gets his damage bonus of +3. So it's 1 to 6 plus 4 in total. So that's 8 points of damage. Oh, it's almost dead. It's almost been So it's really down to Lindris with his with Dark Slayer. Is Dark Slayer going to do the business? It does. It does do the business. He needs. Oh, what did I just do? What was the? I've forgotten what I thought. I'm trying to remember how many hit points of damage I just did. Oh, I can remember now. It was 8 points of damage he did. I just wrote down 8. So it should have been down to 2. It's only got 2 left. And I've got 8. That's what threw me. So we do have Lindris. He's got the +2. He's got a 1 to, so it's a 1 to 6 plus 3 against it. That does 4 points. It is slain. However, we do have the dire consequence that the shrieker has been emitting its piercing, awful, terrible shrieking noise for 3 rounds. So there are 3 50% chances of having a wandering monster appear. So, and I think during this debacle, what Dagbert done is he's just gingerly moved into the room, so it's kind of lit up his lantern. He might not want to be standing around in the corridor if some wandering monsters start coming along. Okay, so right, so let's have a bit of a breather and have a think about this. We have just slain the shrieker. There is treasure in the room. We haven't mapped the room, so we haven't found the treasure yet. So that has been the next. So I would say the next process is to check whether we have a wandering monster occurrence. And based on that awful paragraph in the monster manual, it said that there is a 50% chance of a shrieker, of a wandering monster check. So I think there's a very good possibility that we will be ending this episode with a wandering monster check, and I'll just have to leave you in suspense. But that's what it's going to be. So the first one is a 50% chance, so we get 52. So we don't get it on the first one. So the second one, what's it going to be? 20. So we don't have to bother the next time. We on the second round, as the shrieker was emitting, a wandering monster has been alerted and is approaching us. What's it going to be? Let's find out. So I'll just, sorry, there was a slight interruption there. I'm just gonna get back. We've got this wandering monster check. So let's find out what we're gonna potentially encounter, and we'll kick off with that at the start of the next episode. So we'll do our D20 for the level of monster that we have. So we're going to have a 12, so it's going to be at level 1. So let's roll our percentage dice and see what we're going to get. And we're going to get a 28, which is, halfling. Halflings. It is 28. That was what it said, isn't it? 28. We're going to get some halflings. 9 to 16 halflings. Isn't that nice? Okay. Well, what an interesting way to end an episode with the halfling encounter. So we had this shrieker sounding off, and we were maybe shaking in our boots and thinking, oh my goodness, what is this going to attract, the bats out of hell type thing, and what is going to descend on us? And maybe we've got some nice cozy halflings. Maybe they could be evil, chaotic, evil, ravenous kobolds that have been depraved and manipulated by Callistra into horrible things. I very much doubt it. I think they're going to be some pals. And one of the good things about this, we've now got halflings in our game world. We've discovered halflings. So maybe this is some information that we can take back to Seaward and say, yeah, did you know we've got some little friends to get in as allies. Okay, I thought that was quite an interesting way to finish. Gonna kick off straight with the halfling encounter next thing. So thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you next time.